Good morning everyone and welcome to this episode of Car Stereo Lab. Today what we're going to do is talk to you about a subwoofer. Now the other day one of our reps was by, a guy by the name of Mike Sajecki, Bill's boss. He's been on the live show before in case you guys want to figure out who he is. Anyways, they rep Rockford Fosgate. These guys right here. We were talking about the show and they gave us this, the new PBR 400X4D. This is the next amplifier to go into the Car Stereo Lab. Now what's nice about this compared to, anyways, we're going to talk more about this later. In the midst of all that conversation, we were talking about the subwoofer. He saw this guy right here sitting on our bench. This is the big 8-inch woofer we have. And he was like, are you going to be putting that in your car? Because if you are, you know, right now you have a 301 amp. That's not going to be enough to power that. And we're like, yeah, no, this is for decoration. But it got us thinking, wouldn't it be nice to have a big 8? But then we would need a big amp. We don't want to put a big amp in the lab. It just doesn't make sense for what we're trying to do. So what to do? So we talked about it a little bit more and we ran around and came up with ideas. That's what we do. That's part of the whole purpose of the lab, is to throw stuff up against the wall, take those ideas and turn them into ideas that you guys can actually see us use. Now in case you're wondering where Fernando is, he's pulling his car around. He'll be here in a minute. He's getting the lab, which is his car. And so what we were thinking, so what we have is between 200 to 300 watts that we want to use on a driver. It's perfect for most moderately sized woofers, but we want to do an 8 because then 8 is small, it's sexy, it's cool. A lot of you guys are doing multiple 8s, and so the idea was, let's do an 8, but we want to do a normal 8. By normal, I mean not gigantic magnet, but we still want that big bass sound. So naturally we're busy, we don't have tons of time, so I kind of passed that off onto Mike and was like, Mike, you run with that, and he did. And this is what he came up with. What we have here is a P2 8-inch. Let's take a look at it, shall we? Now knowing that we're going to be using channels 3 and 4 bridged on this amplifier, and of course the small amplifier we already have in there, we knew we didn't want to go crazy, but we still wanted that full boom sound. Now if you guys ever get a Rockford subwoofer, make sure that you read these. You gotta flip the thing over to get the little trim ring out of the bottom, which is this nice aluminum guy here. And then of course they have the screws right here as well. Now the other nice thing about all the Rockford woofers is that they do make a grill that goes into this, so you get to retain this and it keeps it from getting all banged up. You also get a sticker. We know you guys like stickers. So we have a dual 2 ohm voice coil woofer, and that's good. That means we can run at 1 ohm or we can run at 4 ohm, which for this guy we're gonna need a 4 ohm load, so yay. And what we're going to do, in case you guys are unfamiliar with how to wire it up, this dual 2, is we're gonna take a jumper that's gonna go from this positive here over to this negative here, and then we're gonna take the remaining positive and negative and we're gonna go off to our amplifier. Let's do that real quick. Now for my jumpers, I like to use either a 10 or 12 gauge, whatever will fit into the little push terminals, and I also like to keep them as short as possible. If I'm doing multiple drivers, I'll make every single one of these jumpers the same length. It's just one of my pet peeves. Alright, so there's the jumper going from this positive to this negative. Now we just have to come off of this and go into the box, which brings us to the actual box. Now we know we wanted a full boomy sound out of it. This is what Mike came up with for us. This guy right here. Let's get it over on the workbench and talk a little bit about this. So what we have here is a 1.5 cubic foot box, total airspace, 8-inch port, 6.5 inches deep. As you can see, it's a little big. But that's okay because we want this thing to boom. And if you're going with one of those, you also need a big box too. We just want to make sure it booms with the power we have. Now we had Sean over at brightstarcarstereo.com build us the box, had him do it black, paid a little bit extra so we could have the carpet seamed into the top here because I'm not a big fan of the crisscross carpet thing. A little bit extra, looks a little nicer. It's an option they offer. I suggest paying for it. It looks a lot nicer. Now what we want to do is go ahead and wire up some 12 gauge to this guy right here so we can get this all screwed together. part of the reason for getting this wired up now instead of waiting until we put this guy in is because subwoofers need a break-in period. And we want to go ahead and, while we have time, go ahead and get this broken in, because putting the amplifier in, even though we have the lab set up so like it's really smooth to do this, we want to put this in now because, well, we have it for one, and who doesn't want to hear the subwoofer? I mean, we've been talking about this for a while between the three of us, and it was like, it's here, let's do this and get it out of the way so that it'll be nice and broke in by the time we put the amplifier in, and yay. I mean, really, we just want to hear it. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. So let's get it in the car and take a listen. Now what we're taking out is a 112 ported, and we're going to replace it with this 1.8 ported. So it fits a little nicer, which is what we were hoping for. It's a little bit shallower. You'll be able to fit your soccer ball in here.
Yep, it's over there.
Yeah, there's the soccer ball. All right, well, let's give it a listen, shall we? Let's close the trunk and go listen to it on the inside. Wow, that is pretty nice. Now, we don't want to bang the heck out of it right away. So what we want to do is let it break in normal amount of time. We just wanted to hear it, let it heat up real quick, and we're going to let it cool down because he's going to pull the car back out because we got more stuff to do. Never
exactly.
ends. Circle of life, never ends. Which is a good thing. I'm not complaining.
No.
Yeah, because it's how we pay the bills. Point, as I said earlier, was to get it into his car so that he can drive around for a couple days, get it nice and broken in, so when we do go to do the next phase 2 of this particular install is putting the 404 XD in. Yep. It'll be nice and ready to go, so we'll be able to jam on it and really play it. That's the goal, is to really beat the heck out of it and see how it sounds.
Correct.
So this is a quick one today. We just wanted to talk about what we're doing for the sub in this.
Well, a lot of people like the this quick video.
Quick videos are nice. Because that means I get to go to bed maybe earlier. It's just a thought. I know.
Yeah, okay.
So the next video in this sequence is we're going to be putting the amplifier in.
Yep.
And then we have 2 more. We have a bunch more after that. So a lot coming down this pipeline that we haven't even filmed yet. So we got a lot of stuff that we're going to be reviewing here soon. We're going to get back to the unboxings. I know we haven't done those in a while, and some of you guys are like, well, I haven't done it. We're going to get back to that. Like we had said before, we're going to reestablish how all this channel is done. It's coming. We're hoping for 2019 that we have a nice pipeline of products and reviews and install diaries and car stereo labs and podcasts and all that fun stuff. We want to organize now and get everything just flowing freely so you guys know what to expect, other than just a video every day of the week. Because that's fun as that is, more fun when you know what's coming, right?
There you go.
All right, guys, that's it for today. Thanks as always, Fernando.
On to the next one, guys.
Literally, on to the next one. Let's keep going. And as a side note, I know we've already ended the show, but you guys are we're going to talk more about this woofer when we do the amplifier. We just, like I said, we need to break it in. So don't worry, we'll have a full review on everything that we think of this, more in detail, next show.
On to the next one.
Again! Yay!